Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be playing with some Foundry Wax in the background to create a quick collage. So when I began this page, I wanted to use some collage bits and pieces in the background. I wanted to sort of get a vintagey feel to my background because I already had the collage image. You can sort of see it buried under all these pieces here of what I wanted to use on my page. So it's quite a big collage image. Again, it's from the Womankind magazine, volume 31. You can see I've been really taken with that magazine because I've been using lots of pieces out of it recently. So I'm going in with lots of different texts and just collaging all over the background. So this sort of gives me, obviously, the text peeking through in the background. It gives a little bit of layered effect as well. The different layers of the paint or the pages on top of each other. To sort of unite the pages, I've just put a really fine wash of gesso over the top. Quite translucent, it's watered down gesso, and what that does is sort of tie all the bits and pieces together. You don't need to do it, it's totally up to you, but I wanted to have my gold from my Foundry Wax really shine through. So this was me playing and experimenting. So if you haven't come across the Foundry Wax before, it's a newish product from Tim Holtz. It's a wax, it's called a wax, it's not what I would consider a wax, but you shake up the bottle and put it out on your mat or however you're going to use it. Only put out as much as you need, because as soon as it dries it gets quite thick and gluggy, and then it dissipates into a powder, so just be aware. When you have applied it, you need to heat set it. When you're finished, it doesn't need to be straight away, but it has a leafing agent in it. So the gold leaf comes to surface. So you can see those patches where it's got really shiny is where the gold leaf has come to the surface. So the reason I wanted to do this was to see if I could get it through a stencil and do a larger area at once. It did work. But you'll notice where it was quite fine in some parts because I'd rubbed the wax not too hard, but sort of spread it out further than it wanted to go. It wasn't quite as shiny as in other spots where it was a little bit thicker. So when you're playing with the Foundry Wax, I suppose, just have a real know how much you need to apply to get the look that you want, if that makes sense. When I was finished with that, I decided I want to put a little bit of a glaze over the top with the syrup. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the colour name, which is Adina Wakley paint. It's a sort of warm brownish colour, but it's a really good paint to age things and make things look a little bit more vintage. So again, with doing that, it took away a little bit of the shine. So in future, I possibly would put that down first and then put the gold over the top. Again, it was just me playing, working what way I would do things. So now I've got a bit of a plan of action for the future, how I would change it. When I've put my collage image down, I'm just adding in some extra detail with my paint pens, and I decided I wanted to keep this sort of glazed look, so I thought I would get out my distress crayons. So these are a water-soluble crayon, obviously. The ones I'm playing with are the metallic ones, the seasonal release ones that came out, so it's got a bit of a glint which went with the page, and I'm basically using them like, you know, people used to do in the olden days with tinting up photos. And I'm using my finger to spread them out and to blend them into the page a little bit. So I've got those greens, the pinks, and the reds, and a little bit of gold in the hair as well. Once I've finished, I'm going in with my black Stabilo oil pencil and adding in some detail and some lines. So as I've said many times before, when you're using printed images in your journal, the black is never going to be as black as you want it to be, so you need to add that back in again if you want a little bit of detail. I've chosen to use the black Stabilo, but obviously you could use anything you wanted. Now I'm going around the halo-y bit and my figure just to push it out from the background and give a little bit of a shadow to my image, just to create those layers. And then water activating it so it blends out a little bit. Just be careful with some of your cut images with magazines, because obviously because the paper is cut, it's more likely to soak into the edge. So try it on a practice piece first. Just to grunge it up a little bit more, I decided to go around the edge with some inks to create this sort of framed effect around my page. Then I'm going in with a quote, which is, "She is tired." But I didn't like the spacing, so I've gone in and wiped it away. This is why I really like using my paint pens and working on acrylic backgrounds, because I can redo things if it doesn't work. So I decided to start off with my largest word, which is exhausted, fitting that in properly and then working backwards to get my spacing. So once I've finished and I'm happy with it, then I'm going to heat set it. So because paint pens are acrylic paints, obviously when they are dry they are permanent, but if they are wet you can still remove them. So don't dry anything until you're really happy and you've checked your spelling is my advice. Once I've finished, I'm going in with my black pen and adding a bit of a drop shadow, and you can see how that pushes it out from the background. Even though it's white and it looks fine, you could read it before, adding that little bit of black around it just really finishes it off. So here's the finished page in the close-up. You can see that wax in the background. It doesn't look as shiny there as it does in real life, which is unfortunate on screen. But the leafing wax is amazing, and the fact that you can paint it on or you can use it through a stencil using your fingers is really, really cool. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that helped you, and until next time, bye for now.